Hello, welcome to Ring Takes here, episode 28. Of course, I'm joined by Brian and Lewis. As always, thanks you guys for joining me. In this one, we're going to be touching on Jey Uso. We're going to be going over Jey Uso quitting WWE, a little bit of a Raw recap and state of women's wrestling. But Brian, first you can take the floor to talk about AEW and CM Punk.
Okay. This is really about the coverage, or the media coverage of CM Punk since he's been back in AEW and since Collision has started. Week after week, whether it's on the dirt sheets or whether it's somehow it's being referenced on AEW programming, the stories that have been coming out about CM Punk, especially the ones that have come out this week, have been getting very frustrating and annoying. I think it was reported this week that he got into a argument with Dolph Ziggler's brother, Ryan Nemeth, who was on the roster, who was there for Collision, because he had tweeted out that Punk was soft after his ESPN interview. And then that conference, they said that confrontation happened. And they said he got into another confrontation with Jungle Boy about a spot that Jungle Boy wanted to use involving glass that Punk wasn't a fan of, or I don't even know what the story is on that. And then there's additional information.
I wouldn't want to do that either.
but my point is, okay, and this goes back to whatever the hell happened at All Out a couple of years ago. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on besides the people that work in the company. All right. I don't care about insiders. I don't care about people you talk to. For all you know, the people that you're talking to are people who have absolutely no fucking clue either, and just feeding you info to put on the internet. All right. When I hear Dave Meltzer, I mean, we all know Meltzer's credibility sometimes can be shaky, where like he'll have like maybe half of it right, but then the other half of it is completely wrong, which kind of throws everything off. So, but he can be credible sometimes. But whenever I hear him reporting on CM Punk, and it's just like, dude, how the hell do you know for sure what the hell is going on over there? No, nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows what's going on besides the people that are there. And I'm just sick and tired of seeing all these reports. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's like you guys aren't even giving this man a chance to at least try to make up for what the hell happened years ago. It's like him coming back is so bad that you got to constantly report all this negative stuff in an attempt to get him away again. It's like you're not even giving him a chance, and he's the top draw in the damn company right now. So I don't understand it, and it's frustrating to watch. I mean, it's frustrating to read, and I'm just tired of it. I just want the CM Punk thing to work so AEW can continue to grow, and it's constant negativity. Just frustrating.
Yeah. So for me.
Go ahead, Lewis. Sorry.
For me, when Punk was coming back, I was like over the mountain. I was like, because I saw what CM Punk did before he left, and for him to be gone all that time, I was just like, you know what? Maybe he just rubbed people the wrong way, and what he does works, but there was also clearly the stuff that was going on backstage that we kind of knew, didn't know, whatever. But then him coming back and like all this stuff, it's just like, okay, was all the stuff from back then kind of true? Like, is he just really difficult to work with? Because, at first it was like, oh, he's getting along great with talent, blah, blah, blah. But then they're like, well, this dude's winning all the time, so he's not willing to put people over. Just like how we always read stuff everywhere. And then, the whole thing at All In, or the media scrum thing happened, which I think, like Brian said, we don't really know what happened. It could have happened. It could have been bullshit. It could have just been a scuffle, but, people just blew it out of proportion into this big fucking brawl thing and whatever. My perspective, just from the fact that they're not even interacting with each other, is obviously something did happen with them. But now, again, CM Punk after shooting on Hangman Page and stuff like that, like, it's just like, are we still on this whole, like, talking shit about people? Like, are we not fucking adults? Is like, now AEW is just like, I feel like just getting more and more synonymous with just drama and backstage bullshit than the actual, like, storylines that are going on. Because it's like, all we keep hearing is about Punk this and that. People aren't happy. Tony Khan. And it's just like, yo, you got your biggest pay-per-view and nobody's talking about the storylines that are going in. It's just like,
I will say though, in defense of Hangman Adam Page, I didn't agree with the promo that Punk cut. I mean, it was almost like saying like, yeah, legally I can't talk about the Elite, but I can talk about you all I want. So let me take out the frustration that I could use against them and take it out even more on you in that sense. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And
this is what I mean. It like shows, it somewhat shows his pettiness and this, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, we don't know what's going on, but when he does something like that, I feel like it just dumps more on like, oh, well, this is all, we already knew all this. This is who he is. This is like what he's actually about or whatever. I don't know. It's just like, and that's why I wasn't even that excited when he was coming back. I was just like,
I mean,
yeah. And at the same time, it was like, okay, we knew something happened. We don't know what happened, but we knew something. We knew something happened. That's all anybody knew is that something happened, and these were the people that were involved. And something happened. We don't know. But
so this is the thing about how I feel about CM Punk. Like at this point with Meltzer and his reports and stuff like that, it's either hit or miss, right? Like half of it could be true, half of it could be wrong. He could just be trying to be the first person to report the information or whatever the case would be, not get all the information or whatever the case might be. But the way CM Punk has been presented, the way CM Punk we know about CM Punk, most of it's probably going to be true, right? Like we hear all the stories about him being difficult to work with, all these other things. And I feel like the scrum that happened between him and the Elite, their AEW's kind of playing on it like, we're not going to run away from it. We're going to address it, even though we can't legally, technically talk about it, but we're not going to run from it. And I feel like that's doing a little bit more harm than good. It probably would have been better to actually do the brand split, actually try to do that, and then have Punk be over here, have the Elite be over here, and you can probably build this up. But we're continuously getting all these reports that are saying CM Punk's this is that. Now we're getting Tony Khan. It looks like everything about this company is dysfunctional that you hear about, like an indie show or something in the like that's not professional on this level. And these are the signs that it's showing that, and it's looking bad before they're all in, and then they're going to have all out. And I feel like another thing too is that they didn't capitalize off bringing these guys back. Like I wouldn't have brought these guys back if there wasn't going to be some type of storyline or have something that's actually going to build up. Like let's actually get like even like Edge and Matt Hardy. Let's get a payoff from this where it builds our company, takes us to the next level.
Yeah, easily could have been the biggest event of the year. Easily, exactly. Have all those people, but the fact that you
and that's not
yeah, go ahead.
That they're all separated, you can't even get to that. So now looking at that, you're looking at the work that Adam Cole and MJF are doing, basically carrying all in, all out, going into those sections. And it's like, what else does AEW really have right now? And it's like the thing that they need, they can't even address it because these guys can't even get on the same page. Like Tony Khan's not on the same page, CM Punk's not on the same page. Now you got the Elite not even on the same page. Adam Hangman Page is not on the same page. So you're getting all these different avenues that should be like, okay, guys, if we're going to make this work, if we're going to continue to build this, we need all you guys to work together. And as Brian has been saying for the past couple months, these guys can't even get in the same room and on the same page together to put on a good wrestling show.
I mean, according to Punk, he's tried to reach out, but the Elite attorneys are telling them now we can't talk, right? We can't speak. So,
and this is my thing. Why is it all so legally restricted? It's like this is within the.
Aren't they vice presidents of
EVPs?
Aren't they vice presidents of AEW?
Yeah.
So, like, what does that even matter? Like, you guys are in control.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, are you telling me like these guys are in control? Like, so why are these guys literally suing each other? They're like, oh no, you can't talk to this person. You can't talk about the events that transpired. It's just like. Some shit is really going on. This should not have gone to some legal shit where they're like, oh, nobody can talk about it. Like, what? Like, we've all heard of fights happening or people punching each other on WWE, and it's never been some like legal bullshit, you know? Like,
yo, bro, it happens, bro. People, it's the locker room.
People are gonna argue. Like,
people want to be on top. Like, yo, look, it's the nature of the locker room.
At least in the WWE, WWF. We heard somebody got beat up. Like, there's a legitimate story. Like, this person got their ass kicked. This guy got their upper hand. We still don't know what happened with that situation. So, I mean, that's just the loophole that AEW hasn't been good at covering up, like making like everybody get on the same page and building the amends between everybody. And like, yo, we got a show to run. At the end of the day, like even though Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels ended terribly, like with the Montreal Screwjob, but those months before, like, hey, we're getting our show on TV. We're building this up. Like, there's nothing of the sort that we feel like this is going to build to a match. Like, this is going to be at All In, All Out. Like, we're going to get something there. And it's like, we're not even getting that. We're just getting reports of like, now it's just a watered down effect. Like, oh, I don't like CM Punk from Dolph Ziggler's brother. Like, okay, you don't like CM Punk. He didn't want to do a spot. Like, there's plenty of wrestlers that have done that in time. Yeah. And now it just seems like what Brian says, like everything about Punk is just negative. And it's like there's got to be a way to resolve this. Like overall with the company, overall with CM Punk. And it's like, it's not happening. It doesn't look like it's happening. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, is this just like a CM Punk effect? Is it just like, has his presence, you know, because obviously he has people like FTR who are cool with him, but then it's like, you know, you're hearing, like today I was reading, oh, there was, the thing with Ziggler's brother, then there was something about like Christopher Daniels, and then there was somebody else. It's like, now you got producers and shit like that. It's just like, yo, you're telling me that everybody, like you got all the Elite and Kenny and Hangman, and then you got all these other people. Is like, at what point are you like, do we still keep this guy, or are we actually going to build up our company because it's creating so much?
They have to keep him. Like I said, he's the biggest draw. They need him. That's why the situation is so frustrating, because you want to, because in their mind sometimes, I know they think, the locker room thinks probably like, we don't want him here, we don't need him, but it's like, but we really do, because he's such a big draw. We're an up and coming company.
Let me say this. Let me address that part. Let me address that part. The Elite just resigned.
Yep.
Right? Like a week ago, right? Like 2 weeks ago, a week or two ago, right? Yep. They resigned knowing that he's still there. So either his contract is coming, if it's this big of a problem, either his contract is coming up and ending at some point, and they just like let it end, and then we'll just let him like be a fish out of water and drag it out and move on without him. Or they know he's coming back. They know he's staying. They signed. And it's like, well, you guys need to deal with it. At that point, if you resigned, if you guys have a problem with this guy, and then you guys are the EVPs and all this other stuff, and in talks with Turner and all this stuff, and with Tony Khan and all this other stuff, you guys should be controlling everything.
Exactly.
And you're not. So I mean,
but there's the thing though. These guys
are chance to have very true.
But you know the other thing though,
should have resigned. Yeah, you're right.
But at the same time, these guys are all still active wrestlers. So it's not like they're thinking like the Triple H's and the other people who have moved into these business, you know, board meeting type stuff.
Yeah,
they're just like, hey, we're still putting on great matches, and we're gonna do this till the wheels fall off. So it's like maybe they're not even considering that whole aspect. But my problem is, it's like you literally have the top group. It doesn't even have to be group. All of them are top guys, and they're all refusing to work with this man. There's like, so at what point are you gonna be like, yo, who are we even gonna have to work with Punk?
That's like,
it's just like, who's even gonna like?
That's like Triple H. That's like Triple H. That's like Triple H in the early 2000s, and everybody's like, we don't want to work with him because his position with Stephanie McMahon and Vince and all this stuff. We don't want to work with him. Can you imagine how bad that would have been for the company? Like if Mick Foley, The Rock, Undertaker,
Stone
Kane,
Cold, everybody,
the Hardy Boys, like all these guys just said we don't want to work. We don't want to work with Triple H. Can you imagine that? Like it would destroy the company. So it's like in this situation, it's like whatever. Again, as I said before, if CM Punk is the bad guy that they say, they resigned. They had no issues resigning. So this should be over with. Like all that stuff with all these reports and stuff like that.
But to counter that, apparently, I think the Bucks specifically, they got issued like probably like the biggest contract that a tag team has been offered. Apparently,
probably I think it's like millions.
Exactly, yeah. So, would you take that money to deal with that bullshit? I would.
Oh yeah.
No, but no. That's what I'm addressing. If I'm taking the money, I'm working with CM Punk. that's just me off the rip. Like if I'm sitting here, if they're paying me all this money to work with this guy, shit, I'll do it.
Like, they're not even working
whatever
with
beef we have. That's what I'm saying. But like that's what I'm saying. Like any fisticuffs that we might have had between each other, you put millions of dollars in front of me, I can bury the hatchet. I can bury the hatchet. Like we can make that work.
Bret Hart didn't want to bury the hatchet.
Exactly. so many guys in wrestling have done that. Eric Bischoff did that. Paul Heyman did that.
Wait,
it's just like
wait. Bret Hart was out. That was the thing. That's the difference with that. Bret Hart was out. He was already going to WCW. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that was the reason why that crumbled. But I'm pretty sure if Vince was able to give him that money,
which he should have done.
It would have been smart.
He couldn't pay him though.
I thought
why?
Vince couldn't pay him because this was when they were in the war with WCW and NWO, and they were getting their asses kicked, and he couldn't afford to pay him, so he had to tell him like, "Yo, this contract I just gave you, this 10-year deal, I can't give this to you anymore. So I'll give you the option of negotiating with WCW or renegotiating with us." And then he went to WCW and WCW gave him that deal. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm. And that's how and he didn't want to drop the belt to Shawn, and then they screwed him. So that's how that happened. That happened. They actually went into the match and actually did it, but he got screwed.
So was he thinking he was going to win and then just like vacate the title, basically?
Yeah, that's exactly what he thought.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what he thought he was going to do. He was going to beat Shawn or DQ and then give up the title the next night. But then Vince was like, "Oh no, fuck all that. He can take the title and go to WCW and embarrass the shit out of us. No, we're not letting that happen."
No, not even take the title. Not even take the title. My whole and this is the reason why I'm like, okay, I didn't like that they screwed him, but I understood the line of thinking. Yeah. This guy just beats your top star. He's still the champion, and then he drops the title. Let's say he gives the title back to Vince in his hands, and then goes to WCW. What does that say about your company?
Yeah, you put your trust in this guy, and he jumps ship.
Defending the title, just vacated it and went to the other. Yeah, all that momentum. But WCW still fucked it up the same way.
Yeah,
the same thing that the same way he was booked. Even if that scenario had happened, he would have been booked the same way in WCW. They fumbled him so poorly.
I don't know if you guys watched the video I sent to you with Goldberg in his time in WCW.
I didn't get a chance to see it.
Oh man, they touch on it. That guy Brian Zane touches on that point. Bret Hart being booked terribly.
Hey, Bret Hart will never forgive Goldberg for that head.
Never. No. Oh, Bret Hart hates Goldberg. He hates Goldberg. Like it's personal. Like
yeah. And Goldberg's like, yo, I don't know how many times I can apologize. Like
yo, bro, he wasn't trying to hurt you. It was an accident.
Hey. No, that's crazy. I mean,
but at the same time, it cost him his career. Imagine how many more matches Bret Hart could have had if that never happened.
I think the issue was that he continued wrestling after that match rather than taking a step off. Like he kept wrestling after that for a little bit and then got hurt again, and it was just like he made it worse. Mm-hmm. And it's just that just sucks. That just sucks. But ultimately, if I took all that money and I have the biggest draw next to me and I have to work with him, Guess what I'm doing?
But this is what I'm saying. What does it say about these guys that they're refusing to even like mediate or literally take this ball and like make it into the biggest fucking thing you can and make the most money? It's just like
it's a reason. It's probably a reason why WWE stayed away. That's my. It's probably all these little things that we talk about, like this attitude stuff, and like that's not flying in WWE. Like you're either gonna do it or you're not gonna be here. And that's how WWE handles their business. Like if you're not gonna do the job,
they'll take people off real quick.
They don't care. Yeah, that's the thing about them. That's one thing I can give WWE credit for. They don't give a shit who you are. Nobody's bigger than the brand. Even if Roman started shooting the events, they'll take the title off of him real quick. I think they would.
Like Sasha Banks and Naomi. We just saw it with them. Hey, you guys want to pout and go home? Stay home. we'll let your contract shit. Do everything. Yeah, and they waste no time addressing the bullshit. Like even with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the next week, Vince was in the middle of the ring saying he took his ball and went home. Like all this stuff, like they don't waste no time with this shit. So like,
was that when he had to face Brock?
So we'll see what happens with AEW.
That's when he was booked to face Brock, and then
that was for Brock that King of the Ring.
No show because he felt like that. Like,
and then he was like, "Yo, makes me
deserve the build."
And I'm just gonna say this: he was right.
He was right.
Stone Cold was right in that situation. Like he's a legend. Like he should have. I don't think he should have even been in the King of the Ring. That's why I thought Stone Cold where he was. But I'm just like, at least let him lose on the pay-per-view. At least let him lose on the pay-per-view. That was my thing. A Monday Night Raw. I don't know. It was on Raw. He was supposed to lose on Raw. And he was like, I'm not losing on Raw. Like, I'm not gonna get Stone Cold was just worried about like the payout, like what's the overall meaning behind this? Like, am I getting screwed? Like, no, like he was like, he's gonna beat you clean. Like, what? You're basically burying him. Like I completely understand it from both sides.
Yeah. And on top of that, Austin was in pain at the time too, dealing with issues from his neck surgery. Like his body was breaking down. He was frustrated with creative and all that mixed up into what Daniel just said. Yeah, that's why he was like, "Yeah, I'm not coming."
He quit just like Jimmy, like Jey Uso.
Perfect segue.
Which we're gonna get into.